Marhaba, hello. My name is Mohammed Kiki. I am a fourth year student at the University of Ottawa studying marketing. I am a Arab Canadian from Syria with some family background in Lebanon and even Kurdistan. I have decided to pursue this project to not only show Arab Canadians that the Arab Canadian dream of prosperity, success, and peace is still alive, but also to showcase one of my closest friends and once upon a time my boss and manager, his life and his journey as an Arab Canadian living in Canada and going through the adversities throughout his life, living in Lebanon, living in Brazil, and just kind of showcasing what that life was like and showing how difficult his journey was at one point, yet he still somehow prevailed and is now an entrepreneur and a business owner and a successful restaurant owner for the restaurant Garlic and Onion. Without further ado, I hope you guys can enjoy this project and maybe learn something from the journey of an Arab Canadian and a business owner living in Ottawa and what that's like. To give you a little more context, Ragheb's story wasn't always in Canada, and more specifically, it wasn't always in Ottawa. Growing up in the south of Lebanon, Ragheb's family knew that for the future of their family, they could not stay in the Middle East, and they knew they wanted to pursue something for their kids' future. Because his family left at such a young age, Ragheb didn't really get to experience much of his childhood in Lebanon, but rather he spent most of his childhood and the majority of his upbringing in Whitby, Ontario. At around 22 years of age, Ragheb decided to leave Canada to go to Sao Paulo, Brazil to enter the import and export automotive industry. Ragheb would spend the next 7 to 8 years of his life in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and eventually would go back to Lebanon to marry his wife and bring her to Brazil. They would later on have 2 kids, but after encountering 3 instances of assault, Ragheb decided it was time to leave Brazil behind and go pursue his passions elsewhere. As mentioned previously, Ragheb has family all around the world, and more specifically, Ragheb has family all around Ontario, and one of those places would be Ottawa, Ontario. Due to the staggering prices and the economic climate in Toronto, Ragheb would ultimately decide to live in Ottawa to pursue his dreams and passions of being a successful business owner. Having previous experience working as an employee for multiple restaurants, Ragheb would then once again continue to work in the food industry. After saving up money and working endlessly and long hours for many years, Ragheb eventually had enough money to finally fund his own business with the help of his brother and the help of his father. And this is the story of Garlic and Onion. So, Ragheb, would you like to introduce yourself? Maybe give a quick, just short description.
Hi, as my friend Kiki mentioned, my name is Ragheb Al Cheaib. I'm a Lebanese-Canadian. I'm 40 years old. I came to Canada at a young age, and I had a few adventures that I'm about to share with you guys right now, and that's pretty much it.
Perfect. So the first question today that I'm going to be asking you is, what inspired you to enter the food industry, and more specifically, what does Lebanese cuisine mean to you personally and culturally?
To be honest, I've always, enjoyed cooking and whatnot, and then the food industry in general is a very profitable business if it's ran properly and managed properly.
Right.
So actually, I graduated like a tool and die, and I'm a machinist, but I decided to take this path just because of, I like cooking. I believe I make good food, and it itself is very profitable. Very familiar with shawarma, obviously, because it's very popular back home as well. And so something that I have knowledge of, especially like wrapping and all this stuff, like making a wrap. So it's nothing new to me or something that I had to learn, something that culturally I already knew.
For sure.
And it is profitable, and I decided to take it a step further by doing some also fusion down the road, like a poutine and whatnot. It's not popular back home, but just making it grow, and all in all, it's a good, profitable business, to be honest.
Of course. And by any chance, did Ottawa being a shawarma capital in the world influence you to kind of like taking this path a little bit, or no?
Oh no, for sure. I personally, I wasn't very familiar about Ottawa because I'm originally from Toronto. Yeah. And then so I heard about Ottawa and whatnot, but back there we don't have much knowledge about it. And then so when I had the opportunity to come here and work, I was an employee obviously at the beginning for the first few years. I learned about it, and then it just grew tremendously. Even right now, I've been here for about 6 years. You see all the big, big businesses from Toronto that are following.
Yeah.
I guess coming and opening here as well.
Right.
But they are finding, I believe, some challenges because it is like you mentioned, capital city of shawarma.
Of course, of course. Why did you choose to move to Brazil initially, and what were your hopes when you first arrived there?
Once again, I'm going to say money, so that's the second time I mentioned it. First about the business and now Brazil. I'm just a very driven person. I like the whole idea of success. So when I went to Brazil, I was about 22, 23 years old, just because same idea. I was told, import, export business, make money, the form of work over there. So I was in the import from China, would sell in Brazil, Paraguay, stuff like that. So unfortunately, I didn't have the best of luck, because when I went and then everything started going downhill, currency-wise, economy,
Right.
all stuff like that. And then I was supposed to I guess do something and make something, and then because how the things unrolled, it didn't work out very well. And then once you have a family and everything, decided to come back here and then give it a shot back here again.
For sure. What led you to make the decision to move to Canada? I know you touched up on it a little bit, but I guess, can you talk about what did you hope to find here that you wouldn't find in Brazil, maybe?
So to be honest, I was there for 8 years. So I was there for 8 years. The first year I had to learn the language. So I learned, Portuguese, whatnot. Then I had to learn the cities. It's a fairly big country, so a lot of my customers would be like Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais, stuff like that. I had to go travel. I was
and you
by
were
myself.
in Sao Paulo? Or?
I lived in Sao Paulo, that's right, yeah. To be honest, one of the biggest things that decided, that kind of, I guess took the decision for me to come back, is I got assaulted there 3 times.
Right.
And then I had a family and I had 2 kids at the time, and they're both actually born in Brazil. So that's when it's just like, oh, you know what, there's no security.
Right.
It's too dangerous. So one of the 3 assaults was actually in my building.
Right.
Because over there, they just have the basic idea if, you're an immigrant of some sort, whether Chinese, Lebanese, whatever, you have money, so always all eyes on you.
Of course.
So that's one of the biggest things. So although I wanted more success and, the economy wasn't that great, but there's always an opportunity. But when it comes to family and kids, you can't put price on that. So I'm just like, you know what, I gotta come back here just, for the family more than anything.
For sure. So I guess the lead-up question is, you saw more safety in the future of your family and your kids in Canada rather than Brazil?
Yeah. So safety, even education-wise, like Brazil is a beautiful country and scenery and whatnot.
Of course, yeah.
But safety-wise, I don't want to say it's,
of course.
You don't see in the Fast and Furious movies, that. But favelas do actually exist. There's a lot of poverty, so
a lot of corruption.
So some of that stuff, does exist, obviously. But safety, education, healthcare, stuff like that. It's definitely better here for the family.
Of course. So you mentioned a lot about the challenges as an employee and your kind of drive for success and one day opening a business. So I guess the next step from here was when you finally decided that you wanted to open your own business, and it was garlic and onion. What were your main goals, and what did you want to offer Ottawa through your restaurant?
So the whole idea, like I said, it's just, I knew I had the mentality when I came back from Brazil, I don't want to be an employee. Right. Although I'm originally, like I said, Toronto and whatnot, but over there was very expensive. So when I came back from Brazil, for me to purchase a house and whatnot, nearly impossible. Mm-hmm. So I actually have family members here in Ottawa, so that's why I contacted, and I thought I'd come here, give it a try. But because it is a new industry to me, so I had to learn it. Once I went to Brazil and I learned the whole being your own boss, you make your own decisions, the whole, for us in our culture, buy, sell idea, right? So I knew it's like, okay, you know what, I'll sacrifice for a couple of years and then I have to be my own boss. And then I guess it hit most during Corona, right? COVID, what happened and everything. So that's when I had decided, like, no, you know what, 3-4 years, whatever it was. No, I have to be my own boss. I like the idea of family. I'm not a huge, many locations, stuff like that, to be honest. I'm just more driven. I like investing. So I would rather, have one successful location, invest in properties, or
Of course.
back home. I can never, to be honest, I can't forget back home, purchasing land or whatever it might be. Yeah, for me, it's just always about how can I grow, and that's it. The business, really, it's all about business.
For sure, for sure. You mentioned a lot about family and how much that means to you, and
Yeah.
obviously family is your main priority. I guess let's talk about more about the heritage of your family and your cultural identity in this case. So the first one would be is, how has your Lebanese heritage influenced the way you run your restaurant and connect with your customers? If that has influenced it in some kind of way.
So I gotta be very frank. As I mentioned, yeah, I'm Lebanese. I'm from the south. Other than food and flavor itself, I gotta be honest. I can't say it played a big role on me, just because of my location and how I run the business here. Majority of my customers are Canadian, Caucasian, right? So I kind of took that, I guess, that direction, that whatever I'm gonna present is gonna be for those group of people. To be honest, just because knowing my people and my culture and stuff like that, the whole setup here isn't for us. Like for back home, you go, you get a sandwich. It's known to be just 1-2, but the setup here is more cultural, more for the Canadians. So you can choose whatever toppings you want, whatnot. And
More westernized.
Yeah, and they pay for quality and stuff like that. Our people, unfortunately, is just like, why is it so expensive?
Right.
No, I can only pay that much and stuff like that. So
And you find that's like a common thing that happens with
not
a lot of
often,
Arabs?
not often, to be honest. But as a business, obviously, you gotta know, as they say, your clientele, right? Our location, where it is, who our clients are, stuff like that, right? I'm not by no means trying to take over Ottawa, right? Probably won't be the most popular or anything like that. But the whole idea, just being, who your clients are, focus on them, delivery, stuff like that. Always have new items, always grow your menu.
Right.
Just stuff like that.
In what ways have your family values and support contributed to your journey and the restaurant's success?
Values, just like you mentioned earlier, just all about family means a lot to us. Like even right here, it is a family-owned and operated business. So it's actually my dad, myself, and my brother. And we do have a couple employees now, or a few employees. But the whole idea, even when I first wanted to start, I was planning on doing it by myself. But my dad is like, no, we're a family, we're together. That way, always somebody takes the load off another person, right? Especially we are connected to back home. If you want to go on vacation, you need somebody to be here.
Right.
So our whole, I guess you can say, the moral one, it's family. Even right now, for me, as a husband of 3 kids, whatnot. The first couple months you had to sacrifice, be here a lot.
Right.
But for us, no, family is important. I try to take some time off to spend time with my kids. My brother, same thing. He tries and whatnot. But it's all about balance. Where you want to be successful, you want to grow. But you can't forget about family and sacrifice family time just to achieve that goal, because it'll all unfold and it'll work out.
Right. And you think that, like, having your dad, having your brother being a part of this business, do you think that has kind of contributed to the success of the restaurant?
No doubt. I mean, if it's a one-man show, it won't work. You can be by yourself and whatnot, but at the end, for you, no employee, unfortunately, with all due respect for all employees, are gonna care as much as a business owner.
Of course.
Right? So that's why it's just like, okay, if I'm not available, my brother is here. If my brother is not here, my dad is here. And like I said, it's a family-owned and operated business. That's why always a boss is available. So for it to grow and be successful, it helps, I guess, for the first steps and whatnot. And it even helps in the future, 2 or 3 people are definitely better than one man.
Of course. Now let's move forward to the lessons and advice. Any lessons or advice you have for aspiring entrepreneurs, and kind of just looking back on your journey, what are some of the most important lessons you've learned as an immigrant and an entrepreneur in Canada?
Listen, I gotta be honest. I'll speak, as me personally. I don't like negativity. I don't like the word no. I don't like the word you can't. and all this stuff. So any entrepreneur, because everybody, let's say you have an idea, if you pitch it to someone or it's like, look at this guy, what is he thinking? What?
Yeah.
Just ignore, just block it out, do your thing. Just like you see all these social media. But it's true, everybody has a talent of something. It's just a matter of finding it and making it grow.
I don't know if you've thought about it this way, but do you feel that Garlic and Onion has contributed to the Ottawa community and the broader Arab Canadian community in any way? And if so, how?
Yeah, so to be honest, we do quite a bit of donations. I would probably say, if anything, that way. Even today we had a big getting order, thankfully, to a center right down here for about 50 people. So we are familiar with them. We do donations to the hockey team, even to my own Muslim community as well. We do monthly donations. By no means we do it, to get people, to I guess notice us or come here. In a sense, it's just good deed, to give back and whatnot, right? But that's only, that's how we pretty much do. That's the only way we give back, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess now, in terms of reflection and stuff, what message do you hope people take away from your story, especially other immigrants and Arab Canadians facing similar situations or like journeys, I guess, to aspiring and opening their own business one day? To be honest, I just find myself a very simple, modest man. If you have an idea, just work for it. Like I said, the whole negativity thing, me personally, I don't like it. If you have an idea and you're sure about it, and always in a sense as well, don't blame others. This is one of my brother's favorite sayings all the time. It's always easy to do this, but hard to do that. Always easy to blame others, but for you to blame yourself, right? So you gotta be responsible for your own decisions and whatnot. But once you have an idea for you to grow, I'm not saying it is good, to I guess pitch the idea to see if maybe you can adjust or make some changes to it, right? For sure. But the whole negativity, ignore it, man. But just Canada, it's like I said, it has great, huge opportunities and still growing. Population is still, it's not a very populated country and everything. So it's still a lot of stuff for the future. That's it. Just whatever you have in mind, just go for it. And that's gonna sound cliche. Just don't give up, right? Don't give up and go for it. Of course, obviously solid advice. And I guess for this part here, we can also get your honest opinion. But how do you feel about the growing Arab Canadian community in Canada? And how do you feel as an Arab Canadian in Ottawa? And how do you feel, like, obviously you've seen firsthand how large the community has grown. And I guess I just want to know what your feeling is towards that growing community in Ottawa and all throughout Canada as well. I'll be very honest, I'm completely shocked in a sense. Like I said, I came in '96. It wasn't like that. So you're talking about almost 30 years or so. A lot of successful Arabs. You find us everywhere, man. You find us government, a lot of, I would probably say most of us business owners, home renovation, stuff like that. So we have grown tremendously from '96 till now. Like I said, whether it's Toronto, I know a lot of people also are going to BC, Vancouver, stuff like that. Here in Ottawa, Quebec, we are huge over there, known for car washes and restaurants as well. So just as, I guess, more Lebanese, I should say, Lebanese and whatnot, we're known to be entrepreneurs and business-minded. So I'm surprised, and definitely a lot of successful people as well. No, that's good, and we're still growing, right? Because everybody's bringing their family members now as well. So just like how can we grow and make it even stronger and make more money? Of course. And we just have two final questions here. But the first one is mostly about your future with your goals and your aspirations. And I guess the best way to word this question is, what are your hopes for the future of Garlic and Onion, for the next generation of your family? And furthermore, is there anything new you want to do with your restaurant to connect with the community? To be honest, everything we do
the Arab mentality is for our family and kids.
Yeah.
So
I get
my oldest and only son.
Right. Did you want to leave this for him? Maybe
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say I just laughed because I remembered him and he's already telling me, yeah, Dad. So what age can I work? I was like, yeah, 16. He's like, yeah. Well, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a drive-through, and then it just makes me laugh because at 10 years of age, he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And it's as a parent, it's good in a sense that he's not ashamed, of his dad and the business. Because little kids sometimes are something, right?
Right.
So when I got the whole hats and uniform stuff like that, he even wanted to take it to school. So it just it makes a dad proud. But yeah, everything we do, man, is for them. I only have one son, so it's everything for him. But I just laugh because he already knows the changes that he's gonna make, and already at 10 years of age, he doesn't agree with some of the stuff that I'm doing.
Right.
So it's funny.
Lastly, I guess for my question here is, as an Arab Canadian and as just a Canadian, I should say, is the Arab Canadian dream for prosperity, for success, for peace within the country, and avoidance of discrimination, is that dream still alive and well in Canada, reflecting on the journey you have gone through so far?
I got to be very frank. Obviously, the country has changed a lot. Like I said, okay, Arabs are evolving and we're here, but it's definitely not the same. So in a sense, okay, it grew, from when I went to Brazil and came back.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not the same as before. It is way too expensive. So that's why it's just like, when you ask about the Canadian dream, is it still there, whatnot? If you work hard, I said, you'll make money, but will it be like before where people were actually successful?
Right.
And they had, multiple homes or, multiple businesses or stuff like that. It's a great country, like I said, for a family. Obviously, safety, education, let's say, stuff like that. But business and actually growing and, making money, I personally don't see it. But I could be wrong because you see a lot of, other businesses that are growing well. What is their secret? I can't tell you, to be honest.
Right.
But I'm just talking from my personal perspective. It's not easy. And everybody's, has got their own little secret, I guess.
Well, that's all the questions we have for today. I thank you so much, Ragheb, for giving me your time. And thank you very much for hiring me and employing me and working with you for 3 years.
It was a pleasure, man. It was
from being my manager to eventually being the owner and my manager of this restaurant that I'm in. So I'm very grateful to have shared the opportunity to work with you, and I really highly recommend any person, any Canadian, any Arab Canadian, anyone in Ottawa to come try out Garlic and Onion. It is only getting better every time. Ragheb has also no longer shifted the focus from Lebanese cuisine to all sorts of different things, such as the poutines, such as the wings, the burgers.
We got smash burgers now, subs like Philly cheesesteaks, all that.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he's only putting more time and effort into his business and constantly expanding the menu. And I highly recommend anyone to try this restaurant and just say what's up to Ragheb. He's a very nice guy. He's very talkative, as you can see. Yeah. That is all we have for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Habib. Thank you very much. Take care. Pleasure.
After spending the day with Ragheb, I was very humbled and fascinated by his success story and seeing what his daily life looked like as a business owner. While it may seem to anyone watching this video that Ragheb's success is clear as day, it is also important to mention Ragheb's past struggles and challenges that led him to get to where he is at today. Despite his success, Ragheb still remains uncertain about the future of Canada, and the disparity of his homeland definitely plays a huge impact on his daily life along with his family's life. Furthermore, Ragheb seems to be very keen on the idea of family and staying true to his family's values and morals when running the business. Although I would have loved to interview Ragheb's brother Ali Cheaib, he preferred not to voice his opinions but rather let Ragheb speak for the both of them. After spending the entire day with the brothers and even working with them for over 3 years, it is very evident that the brothers have an unbreakable bond and great chemistry with each other and have sacrificed a lot for the future of their families, and overall they have done everything to achieve the ultimate goal of peace, prosperity, and success as Arabs in Canada. As for the restaurant Garlic and Onion, I highly recommend anyone watching this video to go check it out and try the best shawarma in Ottawa. Thank you.